I come from the University of Molise, but also I am a member of the Censo, that is the Italian association that makes this work. Okay. In Italy, we have a breeding population of more or less 500 birds and a wintering population of more or less 1,500 birds. And we noted that disappeared from some areas of southern Italy, in particular in Calabria, Sicily, and Sardinia. And in our red list, it is vulnerable. We update knowledge about winter population and identify all the roosts that we know, and we make also membership of the European Red Kite Census. And we investigate the same region that was censed in 1997, and for each region there were one or two person that works and collaborates on census. We make the census usually in 3 days to make not a double count of double count of the birds, and we start with the double two sessions. Two sessions, one in December and one in January. But from the 2013 we count only in January. And we go preliminary to find the roost, because in some region they change the place every year. And then we start to count the roost from the 14, and where it's possible we make a comparison between the birds that stay in the landfill and the birds that stay then in the roost. And we detected UTM coordinates, altitude, presence or absence of landfills, type of roost, weather condition, and also the presence of other species, for example, Milvus migrants in Tuscany or Basilicata. This is our results, and you can see that Basilicata, it is the most important region, which is more than 1,000 birds, and however, Lazio, Abruzzo, and Molise, they are more or less the 25% of the wintering population. Then there are very few birds in the south and also in Campania, and these are growing because of the LIFE project. You can see that here there is the 25% of the wintering population, and here in this little region, Basilicata, there is more or less 60% of wintering birds. And you can see in Sardinia, in Sicily and Calabria, there are very few birds, and also in Campania. If we make a comparison between our work and the census that was made in 1997 and published after, we can see that there is a good trend in Tuscany and in Basilicata, but for different reasons. In Basilicata, probably it was made the census in a better way, because in this work they censed all the main roost. Whereas in Tuscany there is a LIFE project of reintroduction of birds, and so there is a very good population. And also in the market, it works in different way, but however it works. Then there is a plus also in Lazio and in Molise, but probably it is, there are more birds, but census was made in a better way. And also there is Puglia, it is more or less the same. There is a minus in Abruzzo, but very bad situation in Campania because of wind farms that was built up widely. And also in Calabria because of the landfill were all closed, so birds were no food. And in Sardinia and Sicily mainly because of poison and also illegal hunting. Here you can see with arrows that in the central Italy the situation is more or less good. And in the south Italy the situation is very, very bad, but in Basilicata there were the main population. However, we have seen that also in the north part of Italy there are wintering red kite, thanks to ornitho.it, and from this year we count also in North Italy. And roosts are more or less situated between 100 and 800 meters, and 30 they stay on oaks, and 4 only on ploppers near the rivers. And more or less of these, 10 stay near landfill, only 1 near a slaughterhouse, and 3 near food supply site. The other are in the forest. We have seen these critical issues that probably we know: reduction of food resources, habitat change, especially in landscape, but it is more related to wind farms, and the use of pesticide and bioaccumulation and sensitivity to poisoning. We have made some consideration about our methods, because it is very easy, and this method allows to us to have a good, to have a number of the birds that we have censored. And it is very easy to involve the people, because it is a flagship species. But at the same time, roosts, we know that they are very variable because of the weather condition, for example, or noise. So there is sometimes tendency to dispersion in small group, and it's very difficult to detect it. And also it is very difficult to have good weather in winter in all the region. So this could be a very good problem. And we don't know how many birds comes from other population. And for example, this is a track of a birds that was with a GPS from Tuscany, and he slept 3 days in the south Italy in 3 different roosts. So if we make the census in this time, we count these birds 3 times. And we don't know how many birds comes from Central Europe, because we have only this. This is the maps of the Italian migration atlas. We have only 15 birds that comes from more or less Germany, Sweden, Poland, and Czech Republic. And however, there is a northeast-southwest direction. And now we have more news. And for example, this one, it is a food supply site of Chair, thanks to the Life Save the Flyers. And this food supply site has a camera. And thanks to this, we know that 1 bird comes from Czech Republic. It was rigged the 1st of June and was seen the 27th of October. And yesterday, Guido, that works at Chair, said to me that has seen other 2 birds with the black ring that comes from this place. Thanks to Facebook, we have this, a photo of a German bird that was seen more or less near Genoa, and it comes from south of Berlin and goes to northwest Italy. And also we have this, thanks to Rainer Rapp from Austria. I was very surprised that these birds crossed the Adriatic Sea. These are 2 juveniles. And one goes to the border near Latium and Tuscany, where there is the food supply site. Whereas the other goes to the south and go along the coast of the Tyrrhenian Sea, spend a long time in the south of Campania, and goes to Calabria. But then he comes in Basilicata, where there are landfills. So, for the future, we must continue to sense the roost, and we must improve the maintenance using a wider period. For example, for my PhD, I count the birds in Molise every 10 days in December and January. And we must looking for roosts in the north part of Italy, and also we must organize a census of breeding population. I think by IKEA that is the best solution. And also we must, according to ISPRA, we must do up a protocol about the analysis of pellet, chemical analysis of feathers, and also make capture and marking of subject, as I start next month in Molise, and activation and management of food supply site, because it's very important about, in particular in the south of Italy, and probably we must work for a reintroduction project in Sardinia, Sicily, and Calabria. So we thank you to all the people that works with this and the CISO for organizing this work. Thank you.